it.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Mark and Steve. I'm glad to talk to you guys. We haven't done a Dork Court for a while.
It's been a hot minute. Yes,
it's been so busy over at our place. I haven't even had a chance to watch the new Hellboy.
Oh,
which I'm.
It's very scary, Larry.
I was going to say. I would say. Well, I watched it last night. Watch it because I think it's cool.
I love Hellboy. I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's good. I felt like it was. You saw it, right, Mark? Okay, so I don't want to steer your enjoyment of it, but it felt like a pilot to a TV show.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, what are we on? The 7th or 8th Hellboy movie? I mean, I think I'm cool with like different iterations. Yeah, and I know this upsets people, but the David Harbour one is the best one that nails the comics.
I agree.
I don't think this one's gonna top it.
I will say this though. This was the first one that felt like, okay. The Harbour one felt like I was reading a Hellboy comic. This one feels like I am visually reading a Hellboy comic.
Okay,
that's pretty good.
Because it's like when I think of Hellboy, I always think of like black and white art and like a lot of black and a lot of dark. And this movie, I feel like leans into that a decent amount.
Yeah. The vibe I got was like more like, what if the boogeyman carried a gun and fought other boogeymen? Which I feel like this was the closest to that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, and I thought the guy who played Hellboy was good. I thought and the other actors that they had in it, I thought were very, very, very solid as well. Yeah. So
I love Appalachian witches and weirdos. It's kind of
it was just like with like what I liked about it was like it's what they did the same thing that they did with the Harbour Hellboy, where it's like 2 minutes in, you have to know what's going on and just roll with it, and you're like, oh, all right, I'm in. Like, let's do it. And that's why I saw like it felt like a pilot, because it felt like if it was a TV show, you'd get like that one episode with some like historical, like I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you'd get like the backstory of everything. Whereas this one was just like, nope, we're just rolling right into it. Like you're in the adventure, it's going, and you're just like, all right, and there's Hellboy.
We're transporting a giant spider. Let's do it.
Anyway, it's sharp. Check it out. Mark, did you watch Frankie Frico though?
Not yet.
Okay, I haven't watched it either. So
Frankie Frico. Let's see.
That was the one from the guy who did Psycho Gorman.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love that movie.
Larry, are we just speaking French to you? Psycho Gorman, Frico.
No, you guys turned me on to Gorman. And so the same guy. I'm up to date. And I saw the list. I'm like, all right, I'm not sure that's for me. I'll just ask the guys. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with old Lair. Like Walker's got a Friday football game for once, and Mimi's job is crushing. Glenn Farrington has this career track where he walks in to a new job and goes, "Hey, just so everybody knows, I was a former New York beat cop, so like just go start with me from there, and let's go." And then like 3 or 4 weeks later, he's like running everything because, he's the no nonsense security guy. And so that happens to Mimi. She's just like, hey, I know everybody thinks I'm a cute girl, but here's where we're at. And in like, she's been at that job 6 weeks and she's been promoted twice. It's pretty funny. So
there's a meme that I saw recently of Picard like sitting at his desk drinking tea. And it's like when you're in a Zoom call and you realize that the project you're talking about is going to be assigned to you, you're just like,
all right.
I'm going to be doing this, aren't I? I'm going to be in charge of this division. Oh, okay.
Cool. That's literally what happened to her on Wednesday. She says on the Zoom call, yeah, Andrew, thanks for volunteering me for this thing. And
exactly.
But everybody goes, who else is going to do it? Like there's people in the water and you're the only one who can swim. So,
right.
And she's like, another fucking day for superhero costumes. Anyway,
Love it.
Anyway, so I've been chief cook and bottle washer all week, looking at, prepping the food, make sure the kid goes out. You do this college application. Where are you on econ? And
Oh yeah, how did that all go?
A minus on English? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, what am I saying? A minus AP English? You're fucking fine on that one. Sorry, buddy.
Well,
now that we know he's watching.
Well, yeah. Well, once you hit AP English, then you're dealing with, like, and you're in the A realm. You're also in the people's opinions, right? Because you're in an A, so an A minus is just the teacher's way of saying, like, you're doing wonderful, but like I still want a little, anything.
Maybe Emily Dickinson was a lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's the opposite of a Lowell student, right? In terms of his mental state. He's like, A minus, 90.1. I crushed it, He's fine, and not like stereotypically there's a lot of like super, 4.5 GPA students who are very, focused because of the family or culture they come from, and he's just,
of course,
he doesn't care. He's like, what? I got it in.
Sorry, what's your shirt? K-Town?
Yeah. My stupid Star Trek gym stuff. I forgot. Thanks for doing this early because of Walker's game. But I kind of forgot that we had decided on noon on Friday.
Well, that's why I had to ask again. I'm sorry. It
worked out. I just got back from my little trot. I like going that couch to 5K, and I'm doing pretty good. But I was going to take a shower. So I always wear my Starfleet gym stuff because I think it's funny. And I was going to take a shower, but I was like, shit, I got 6 minutes. I better go do the thumbnail and everything.
What is K-Town, though? What is that from?
So the dumb thing is, like, when Discovery was on, they put disco.
Yeah.
And so I made a black one that said prize because I thought Captain Pike would wear his gym shirt under his uniform just to, without washing it, just to make everybody on the bridge know who was boss, smell my fucking Captain Pike stank. And so then after that, it became kind of a thing. I had to make an Exeter one for my ship. I made one for Price for whatever ship he is, and then he changed it to Kitty Hawk. And I was like, oh, K-Hawk, that works great. But I already made a Yorktown, which was that's what they were going to call the Enterprise initially, the USS Yorktown. Yeah. So I just thought that was funny. And, our cats don't really have names. It's Mr. Kitty and, Dizzy Kitty. So she's Baby K now. So he's Mr. K and Baby K. So I'm like, all right, I'm mayor of K-Town, I guess. So it started out Star Trek, but now this is my cat juggler shirt.
Have you watched new episodes of Lower Decks?
I have. I watched the first two and I started the third one. So
good, bad,
yeah.
It's a weird time for media with me. Like I have to catch it when I can, so I don't sit there with my notebook, and I just sit there and enjoy it like a regular Star Trek fan, a regular fan of just cool shit. So it's gonna mess up my perception of the shows because I'm not watching it in full, like soak up the Star Trek. But the one thing I did notice is I don't really like Tendi, but I enjoy her character arc. Like I love she's mistress of the 9,000 winter storms or whatever it is. I just think that's cool that she's like she's a schlub on her ship in a regular job, but she's like, one of the Kardashians to the Orions, right?
Yeah,
and
a Kardashian ninja assassin.
Right. I mean, whatever that means to Orion, she's like this top celebrity. She should probably be somebody cooler than the Kardashians, but she's like Taylor Swift, right? She's a princess ninja assassin. So I like all that, and so these three first ones, I'm like, all right, I'm settling into Tendi now. I think I get what her whole thing is about. So I'm liking it, but I'm sad.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
I do like that they went to an alternate universe, and it was like, what if we had made slightly different decisions? So everyone was just like a little bit off.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like the one, the Orion, when she goes back to the Orions and they have they show the whole culture of Orions that looks like the guys from the original animated series.
Yeah.
Because that's like one of those deep cuts, but not things that Lower Decks does really well.
Yeah.
It's like they do. I want to see this in all forms of entertainment, where the guy doing it totally gets the show that he's working on and totally puts in jokes and references and stuff that everyone will get, but think they're the only one who's getting it. You know what I mean?
The Mugatu episode was just so perfect for that.
That's what I noticed, that Mike McMahon's fine. There's and so many Mugatu stuff in 23 minutes. We talked about that last time, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
I had to look up because Steve, at the opening credits, they add giant beings fighting in a battle, and the Cerritos kind of shows up, and it's like, nope, and they.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Every season they add more elements to it, and I had to look up the green hand that attacks the giant Borg.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
What is that? Are they all from original? Is it a lot of stuff from
everything?
Do they do like
just references? Yeah,
like the classic animated show and stuff, or is it all? It's
everything.
Oh, that's
everything.
Cool.
Yeah, there's like giant space slugs from. Yeah, no, but the giant green hand is Apollo, and that's the. Do you remember the episode they meet Apollo? And
I had to relook it up and rewatch it.
I'm talking to. I mean, I know you.
Yeah, sorry.
But that's one of my comedy things when I talk about Star Trek. And people go, "It's so dopey now."
When they meet like Olympia, they go to Olympus or something. Yes, I do know it. Yes.
But that's one of my comedy episodes where I was like, Star Trek was always like meeting Space Lincoln, and like a green hand holding the ship, and that's Apollo. And all I thought as a kid was like, I'm so glad that there are enough people in the 23rd century who fucking still believe in Apollo, that he can get a green hand up and hold a starship, stationary in space. And the one with Lazarus, do you remember that one?
That I don't know if I know.
It's a like complete drama version of the Evil Twin episode. But it's two guys from a particular different universes.
Different mustaches kind of thing?
Yeah, he's got a different beard. And it's like the most fucked up production episode of Star Trek. They'll show a guy with a blue sky behind him. They cut to Kirk in the soundstage. They cut back to the guy, and it's a cloudy day. And it all comes from, it was originally cast with John Barrymore, who just got drunk and forgot that he was in a Star Trek that week.
Oh, okay.
And so they panicked. They panicked and just hired another guy, and it's amazing. And so as a kid, I just thought all kinds of stuff like, no, the weather's different because that's the guy from the other universe. And like that you just do as a kid. Like it's not
you just pass it on.
Plywood wall with blue paint on it. That's the fucking antimatter core. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that Star Trek does opposite now, where they spend $10 million on this shiny set that looks fucking like it could go and keep you alive in space, and then there are a bunch of dopes that don't know what show they're on. They're trying to do like a Golden Girls episode, and so anyway, that's why I love Lower Decks, and I'm kind of saving them. When I know a show is over and I like it, I don't watch them right away, because I'm gonna be sad when it's over and they don't announce the live action Lower Decks, which is called like Middle Decks or something. Like, don't watch Starfleet Academy Star Trek, that one. This is the good one with the teenagers. I don't know.
Nice. Anyway. So that's what's currently on right now is Lower Decks.
Yes.
Got it. And that's the only Star Trek on right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
They kind of do that on purpose. There's overlap sometimes where one is ending and another one is starting, but They learned their lesson in the old UPN days, because they had Deep Space Nine and Voyager on the same time, and it tanked Voyager's initial ratings because people were like, "No, we want to find out. We don't know."
We're watching, right? Yeah, I'm watching this one.
Characters.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Anyway,
did
sorry
you guys
about the Star Trek?
Yeah, what's that?
Let's talk about Battlestar Galactica.
Well, I was going to say, did you hear the announcement of the new Star Wars trilogy?
Oh, with Simon Kinberg.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
That's all I heard. I didn't know what's it about.
No. That's all I've seen. I just know that everyone's losing their mind because they're like, wait a second, you gave it to the guy who did X-Men 3 and Dark Phoenix. Like, you're making him right? 3 movies, but I'm trying to think of what else he's done. I feel
Tim Burg's amazing. He did that Invasion show that Apple Plus did over the coronavirus.
Oh yeah.
And I love that show. So I'm actually super optimistic about it because he tries stuff that doesn't work. And I will watch that all day long over just vanilla fan service, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm excited about it.
I know he was the executive producer on Deadpool Wolverine.
Oh,
yeah.
So
the Marvel credits though are all like sort of, if you brought anything to making that movie happy, you got an
EP credit on that.
Yeah.
That probably makes sense. Oh yeah,
unless you drew the whole fucking 6 years of the comic, and then you get a special thanks at the end, and nobody cares.
Well, the interesting thing is his association with some of these with the Marvel stuff is pretty interesting because I know he's like, I think he's also New Mutants, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
got a lot of decent credits.
Yeah, he was like, and I think he did like Legion and like a couple of the other things. So anyway.
The New Mutants movie was.
Go on.
That's kind of what Larry was talking. Like he took a chance. Like, what if the X-Men were in a horror movie? And the movie didn't do well, but I still appreciated like finally someone's doing something different.
So when I finally got that opinion of his stuff, it was the first season of Invasion, because nothing happens all year in that season for the entire season, and they don't explain anything, and it's fucking riveting, right? But boy, do you have to be on that wavelength, because if you just sit down and go, "Oh, what's this new episode?" You'd last 7 to 10 minutes and just go, yawn and turn the channel, right? But if you get on their wavelength, it's riveting. So I love shit like that. I did a superhero comic where everybody hates comics and superheroes, so like I like when you turn the rock over and look under it, because that's stuff that most writers and producers and stuff don't do. And that's why I'm really excited about him, because Steve said all his credits were like administrative credits, but he is 100% on the creative side.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at what he's been associated with, and that you're right. Like he helped produce Jumper, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, which I actually like. I think that movie is kind of. I
did enjoy that movie.
But Elysium.
That's a great
Let's Be Cops, which I actually dig. I thought that movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we love that movie.
Chappie,
the New Girl spinoff.
He was one of the producers on The Martian. So like,
he's legit.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
I was wondering. I also didn't realize he also was
the theme of the week. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
No kidding. Just for a while. Don't panic.
I think people were also killing him because they're like, "What's his association?" He's like big in the Marvel, and what's his association? And then I just realized he actually was one of the EPs on Star Wars Rebels, the entire run.
Yeah.
He knows his Star Wars.
So this brings me to the thing I am enjoying. It's got 5 episodes out, and you guys will love it. It's called The Franchise. Have you heard about this?
I've seen, yes.
Have you seen it?
The first 2 episodes.
I'm up to date, and oh my god, it makes me cry laughing because
it is great.
So, but
it has what's his name in it?
Richard E. Grant.
Well, no,
Loki, old Loki.
No, go on, keep on going.
Yeah, classic Loki. But what I like about it is that this is Simon Kinberg. They've reached. I'm kind of not spoiling anything. I won't for Mark, but in episode 5, they figure out that all the conflict goes away if the 2 competing producers just go, "You deal with the suits, and I'll deal with the guys on the floor," and you have administrative and creative. And you kind of see the end of the season now, that because everybody has stopped competing and are all facing the same way. And I got a feeling that's hiring Simon Kinberg for 3 Star Wars movies. Like he gets the Marvel franchise stuff, and Kathleen Kennedy needs to run the suits. She's great. But
fascinating.
So, and we can't have Filoni and Favreau because they're doing their shit. But you know what? Let's get a guy who just maybe he starts his own little pocket universe instead of just trying one for Rogue Squadron. hey, maybe we gave this to Kinberg, and then all of a sudden there's maybe 3 movies, and it's a Rogue Squadron world. And if I was them, that's what I would be doing.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
So I will move to Burbank. My son's going to be going to school down there.
Yeah. Oh no, it's official. It's official. Where's that?
No, it's not official.
Okay. No, I'm just saying.
Oh, dude, that's not my story to tell. Walker will probably call you guys up personally, or send you a text or something. But no, he finished the first. I told him it's the beginning. It's the very first lines of Planet of the Apes. It's all right. That's our final report before we reach touchdown. It's in the hands of the computers. There's fucking nothing we can do except sit down and lit our cigars and wait to see what happens. And oh shit, we crashed in the water and monkeys can talk. Maybe that happens, but maybe you get home and saw some stuff no one else has ever seen, and you can get your name on the bronze plaque. Who knows?
Well, no, the franchise has.
I love you guys care. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say the franchise has Baron Zemo in it, so.
Yeah.
I love
There's
it.
a lot of Marvel people in it.
That's cool.
The lead from like 2 Loki characters are in it. What else? Oh, and the girl from The Boys is in it.
Oh yeah. I never watched The Boys, so I never.
Stormbringer.
Yeah, Stormfront or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, one of those 2. I don't know. Whatever the semi kind of insanely racist title of that is. I forget what Stormbringer, Stormfront. But I love that actor. He's great. Mm-hmm. My favorite role he was ever in was Inglourious Bastards, except he plays a bad guy. But I thought he was great in that too, and he's only on the screen for like 20 minutes.
I don't think I remember him in that. Oh shit! Now I got to watch that movie.
Is that the blonde guy who plays Tecto? Is
hold
that
on,
the guy who's in The Boys? I don't watch The Boys, so I don't know.
Oh
no, it was the girl.
Oh, the girl. Is a girl.
She was the bad guy in the I can't. What was her name in the season of? What was her name? Stormfront.
Yeah. So
she was a neo-Nazi. Great on The Boys. We'll leave it at that.
It's funny. I don't know. So does the name Lizzie Andrews sound familiar? She was in Masters of Disguise, Dante's Cove.
Lizzie Andrews?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why, but every time I type in IMDb, it always goes to her page. And I think I looked it up once while we were talking.
Oh.
So every time I type in IMDb and it just autofills to her page. And I'm like, why always?
Oh, that's weird.
She was Big Bottom Girl in Master of Disguise. Why the hell was I looking that up? And why is it now
Big
the
Bottom
one
Girl?
page? Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. I'm so interested.
I know the Queen lyric about fat bottom girls.
Wait, Big Bottom Girl in what? Big Bottom Girl in what?
Oh, Master of Disguise.
Master of Disguise, like the Dana Carvey one?
Yeah. Never mind. I figured out why I was looking her up.
I saw your face. You went, oh, and I was like,
oh,
I'm not going to ask on camera.
I'll keep that one to myself.
Do you have that on VHS, Mark?
Master of Disguise? No, I need it though.
Speaking of that, man, like, I don't know if you remember this, but 5 to 7 years ago, whenever the FF first became the FF in the MCU,
mm-hmm.
do you know that thing, Jim Lee's thing? Like, whatever you think, the FF has always been the FF for 7 years in comics. Nobody's older than that.
We've talked about this. Yes.
Yeah. So between 5 and 7 years ago, I once promised you this Roman Coppola CD called CQ. Do you remember us talking about this?
I've seen it.
I when I watched it, I was like, this fucking saved my life in the middle of the night. This is the most fucking brilliant movie ever. And we had talked about it, me and Steve. And I said, I'm going to send it to Mark. And then I either forgot and lost track of it, but I've been cleaning up this week because I had my TV off. And I found it. So, I realized I was going to try to give it to you at Alameda in November, at the first November, and then I forgot that we didn't arrange to go.
It's a good movie. Great movie.
I'm going to mail it to you, and I'm like, hey, man, save this for when you just don't know what to do with your life, and then spark a bowl and just like ooze into this film, and you will really like it. It's very
cute.
Yeah, it's good, really great movie.
I mean, everything about it is good.
Yeah.
The story's good. The cast is good. The themes are good. Everything is good.
There was a restaurant in San Francisco in the Mission that used to play it on projected on a wall 24/7. It just looped in the background because it has enough visuals and stuff in it that it's like you don't even have to hear any of the dialogue to just look up and be like, well, okay, all right.
Really, the only thing I remember about it is it's like a guy in the mid 60s doing kind of a Barbarella kind of movie. And the lead girl is just crazy European attractive. And the main guy is the guy who played Faraday in Lost. If you can picture that guy, he's got this heroin chic with like long stringy hair, and he's kind of jumpy all the time. And it really fits for this movie, and just everything about it just hit me just right at 1 a.m. one night when I like couldn't sleep, and I was just, hey, remember that girl in college and that kind of, when you get all wistful like that. Oh man. That movie just makes everything better.
The first image is a beautiful woman on the moon.
So you can see why Jesus. And then they're making a movie like that, right? So you can kind of see where I would be all into that.
And the main girl is model. I remember that.
Oh,
yeah.
So she was like a super famous not even super famous, but I mean a well-to-do model. So she's like, she's incredibly attractive. Yes, yeah.
You get it. You get why the events of the movie happen.
Yeah. I think she was in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, yeah?
Well. I think she's in that. So
I literally have no idea how I came across this movie. I just know that after I watched it in the middle of the night, I bought the DVD to see it later or give it to somebody who needs to see it right then. And I got it in my head. Oh, Mark's got to see this.
It's funny. I thought this was like something from the 70s, but I was like, oh, but that actor looks like Faraday from Lost. It must be like his dad or something.
Which, kind of is a lot of things. It's funny that you say that. What was I watching the other day? I think one of the guys in Fringe. Remember the bad guy in Fringe?
The Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Moriarty. I didn't realize that he's what's his name's son. Can't think of what his real name is. Is it Thomas Harris? Is he Thomas Harris?
Oh, Jared Harris.
Jared Harris.
Yeah, the guy from Mad Men. I actually knew that. Yeah, that character meets a grisly end in Mad Men. Every once in a while, Walker will be like, can I watch Mad Men? I'm like, you'll like the first couple seasons, man. It's pretty bleak after that.
Yeah, it was funny because it's like, I'm like, wait a second. His dad was like Richard Harris? That's like, and then you're like, oh yeah, I totally see it now. And I don't know how I never made that connection.
Wait, it's not Richard, is it? It's Jared. Is it Richard Harris?
Well, no. Jared Harris is the actor that from Fringe and Moriarty.
He's in Foundation. His dad is in Foundation.
His dad is Richard Harris, which is like,
what? No.
Yeah, swear to God.
All right, well, that's cool. I got my Harrises mixed up.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister. Did I tell you about my sister's making me do a book?
Yes. How's that coming along?
It's great, except she does everything wrong. And I tell her every time, don't do this. You're introducing errors.
Trust me.
Like when you have all these things, like people going, oh, there's a typo here. Let me correct this. Collect all those in a document and just wait.
Oh, yeah. That's
called copywriting. Send this to me one at a time.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose it.
Right. It's not maintenance. It's copywriting. When it's done, it gets copyrighted.
So I just said that because my computer banged. And it's like, I look up real fast as my sister going, oh, somebody just sent me a correction for their. I'm like,
that you know what though, that I should say early in my advertising years when I used to work with very junior copywriters, that was always a big thing to do with them, where it would be like having to explain to them that like it's not a maintenance job. It's
right.
It's a job. So you get your point when people are like, because they would always like go into the deck and copyright as it was going along, and I would be like, no.
Yeah. Whoa.
No, because then I never know when you've done your job.
So no one knows where you are in the
so
process.
It's like I will give it to you when it needs to be copy edited. So it's like you'll get your time. So then we know, okay, everyone has in it what they want. Now it's your time to copy edit. So you got a day or two to do that. And then we know that you've done what you had to do. And now we don't have to go back again, unless people want to change something. And then we go through the whole cycle again. But if you're doing maintenance on it, I don't know what you're doing.
And then that's all you end up doing. You might as well put on your overalls, right? Because then it's constant maintenance.
Correct.
You'll always find something going on. And it's
Correct.
like, no.
Correct.
Guess what? You've just taken over this project now with your nonsense, and we can't go forward.
Right. You have to
The
compartmentalize.
thing that's funny is I've gone through this with her 3 times, and it's cool because she's just super excited, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
And so I'm just at the point where I have to go like, look, are you going to end up trying to do more of these? Because you need to learn the good habits first. If you don't, I'll suck it up. Whatever. It's just kind of funny. I'm talking with my pals, like, let's take all the U's out because that girl's Canadian. She spells like British. Okay, that's fine. But if you're going to keep doing this, which she named her, she's got a publishing house now.
Yeah.
Little Dreamers. I think that's a really good name, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And, but I'm like, are you going to be Kathleen Kennedy? Or are you going to be Dave Filoni? Are you going to be Simon Kinberg?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm Simon Kinberg right now. Just so you can listen to me or not. I don't know. I know it's difficult because I'm your older brother and you just fucking realize that he's been doing this for his entire adult life.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's just funny.
Well, I think at times like that, you can only steer. You can't force.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's easy because it's not my company.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. You just help steer. You just help steer. Right. Yeah.
The best thing is, no, she doesn't want to tell anybody I'm her brother. So I'm the Cutler Group graphic designer guy. Cutler Group SF.
That's awesome.
But gents, Cutler... I need to prep for my meeting. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah, good. No, thanks for coming in, Mark.
Yeah,
dude. Sorry about that, man.
Awesome.
Awesome to see you.
I'm happy we got to talk for a little bit.
We'll catch up about Star Trek once this normal person leaves us.
Yeah. All right, guys.
See you, Mark.
Later, man.
Bye.
Well, now that he didn't leave yet. All right, I can't look. Now that he left. All right. No, I was saying. So did you see the 2 things I posted in the channel about the Marvel thing? What's Malkovich being?
Oh yeah. And he's the Red Ghost. I see.
I don't know that character.
He gets mentioned all the time. He's a Soviet guy who has control of monkeys. That's all I know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he looks like put up John Malkovich in long wig and a red jumpsuit. Yes.
Yeah, and if you give me if you can pull off the the monkeys like you do in all these Planet of the Apes movies, like I'm in.
Yeah, I don't see why not. This is going to be great.
And then the other thing was the rumor that I saw during the whole earlier in the week when I was avoiding everything in the world was Statham is in talks for a Marvel role.
Yeah.
So again, who do you think?
I got very excited about that.
Yeah. Who do you think?
I couldn't guess. It's going to be somebody crazy random. I will say we went to, there's only random guys left, but I'll tell you who my dream guy is. Make him Kazar and give me because Kazar's
give him the hair.
Yeah, give him the hair and give me the whole thing, man. Give me Savage Land. Give me Shanna. And just have it be somebody that Spider-Man meets. You don't even have to go crazy, right? Just put him in because we need him for Secret Wars and Doomsday.
Well, that's my thought. My thought is that he's definitely. I think they're looking now at Secret Wars as we have Deadpool and Wolverine made the cameo a cool thing again. Mm-hmm. I think Guardians did a little bit of it. Like when Guardians at the end, when it was like Stallone and like Miley Cyrus, like it was so small, but it was the end. You're just like, wait a second, there's this other group, and all of a sudden you got like Stallone is in a Marvel movie. What's going on? I think that kind of like blipped it a little bit. But now that you have Secret Wars coming out, I think you can go and say like, okay, open up your, the Marvel handbook. Let's pull some characters out and like, hey, let's like give Statham a couple $1 million for like 25 minutes on screen in 2 movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's an easy sell to an actor like him. It's
Right.
like, hey, look, man, you're not going to be able to pull this off for much longer. Please be our Tarzan for 4 or 5 movies.
Right.
Like before you get done talking, he goes, oh, I'd love to do that for you.
Right. I'm just so I'm also interested to see like who else they could kind of like. But that's like to your point. It's like open up the Marvel Handbook, remember that old comic, and just just pull out who you think you might want to be. You know,
once you get to John Malkovich as the Red Ghost, I mean, that's kind of probably what they're doing, right?
Right.
Like, hey, who's a muscular British guy that isn't Captain Britain? You know, it's like,
well, I mean, I think the smartest thing, I saw someone talking about how actually, I know we keep on talking that like Hugh Jackman is like Wolverine. I think at one point or even during Secret Wars, you just have Henry Cavill show up as Wolverine, and then that's it. And then you just like, and you never even have to really explain it. You're just like, oh, it was the other Wolverine. Oh, okay, that's the Wolverine now. It's like you can do that.
I'm sure that's going to be part of Doomsday and all of Secret Wars. You know what I mean? Just from what you said, they realize, hey, look, the Cavalrine worked really well, but you wait a half an hour and you get redemption for fucking Blade and Jennifer Garner, Elektra, plus added cetates for Gambit, where you're like redeeming the last 15 years of his life trying to make that ridiculous thing.
Right.
I think, and that speaks to your point that the cameos actually mean something.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I think that's the luxury they have now.
Right. They didn't have that. They didn't. Yeah. And the sad part is the sad part is I have to give more credit to Ryan Reynolds again, but it's like you didn't have that. You didn't have that level of, I want to say almost like permission to do that until that movie, and then to do it with, I mean, really think about it. They did it with Wesley Snipes' Blade, which, if you think back, Reynolds and Wesley Snipes hated one another, or at least that was the rumor, but realized that was a big impact one. It fucking killed, excuse my language, it killed the other Blade movie. I mean, it really killed the other Blade movie.
It absolutely did. I said that when I got the DVD because I was listening to the Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds
director's cut? Yeah, director's commentary. Yeah.
And I instantly opened my phone from my little chair where I watch TV, and I was like, nobody will care about Blade now unless it's Wesley Snipes.
Right. And it's just like you like, dude, that's like nuts. Like, but think about that. That was
the swing of where he was and where he is now is nuts. That is nuts.
And then also for the fact of like I said, you've given permission to make that cameo very, very important. Because, you know, at one point, Feig is letting them add like post-credit scenes in Marvel released movies in the direction of Black Knight and Blade and all that stuff. Yeah. Then you get to here and you're like, and Ryan Reynolds or whoever, they're like, we're going to have Blade be in this. And you're just like, okay, but it's going to be Wesley Snipes Blade. And you're just, and then again, he also has to say, okay. And that's the beauty, I think, of Feig. It's like, he realizes when something's not working that I'm not going to keep on pushing it forward. You know, like and then to this point, it's like, yeah, Blade is permanently like, and then you could even take, what's his name? Maser Ali. I think that's how you say it. I forget how you say it. Have him be someone else.
Just give him a Kang. Like this happens all the time. It happened in 1979 in the Star Trek movie. They were originally going to have like a new show, and he was the Vulcan replacement, Zahn. This actor, I forget his name, David something. But you know, he's okay. He can't be in it, and they're like, "Oh no, but you can open this movie." And he's the guy that is the Commander Branch, the guy that's in charge of the station that V'ger eats the Klingons in the beginning.
Okay.
So you know, that happens all the time. Sorry, we were going to do this. We understand you're an actor, you're counting on this money. We can't give you the big thing, but here, have this chunk of change to get you into your next bit. David
Right.
Gatterow, I think, something like that, right?
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see it, but yeah.
I
Captain
think that's what it is.
Branch.
Once I started, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that Starlog number 5 that I got back in 1970. You know what I mean? I have a weird.
What was his? What'd you say his name was?
I think it's like Gatterow. It begins with G.
It's French, right? The French spelling.
Yeah,
maybe
EAU, something like that.
Commander Branch. There you go. Oh, he looks like a familiar actor too.
Yeah, he had a pretty good career. I think it was mostly theater after that. But he was a working actor, so he dusted himself off. And Star Trek wasn't that giant a thing like it is now, where like it's too big to fail and everybody keeps watching Star Trek Discovery because they want more Star Trek. So I'm sure he wasn't like, oh, that was my chance to be a TV guy,
right?
It's just working actor.
Yeah,
I think that all the time about James Naughton. Check this out. So you know that actor, right?
James Naughton. I got the name sounds familiar, but I got to put a face to it.
He was the brown-haired guy astronaut in the Planet of the Apes TV show in 1974. That's the first
one. He won a Tony, so that's
the thing. I'm like, his brother is David Naughton, the guy from American.
That's the name I know. I know David Naughton. Yeah, he's Werewolf in London.
Right. And the Dr. Pepper guy, his older brother was this Planet of the Apes guy. So I never saw him again because he went on to be this like Emmy, Grammy, Tony Award winning theater guy, to the point where decades later, right? All the actors and producers and people know who he is, but the pop culture audience has forgotten, except for guys like me, right?
Right.
And or if you remember, it's like, oh, it's the Dr. Pepper guy's older brother, right? It's like it's kind of like an asterisk kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
To the point though, when Devil Wears Prada comes out, they need a line. They need like a scene with Meryl Streep's husband, who just like comes in and is like, your fucking life is insane. They wrote like this like really powerful like 4-line thing with her, and they realize he's such a good actor that all he has to do is come up and like emote at her and then leave. It's like a seconds in the movie. Okay. And I start freaking out. Oh my God, it's Pete Burton, Planet of the Apes. Yeah. And my wife is like, what are you doing? I'm like, that guy right there, I don't know what he's doing in the movie. He has no lines, but that guy's super famous Broadway director. Maybe he's friends with Meryl Streep or the director or something.
Yeah, probably. I wonder if he's like, I should look. Maybe they're like, yeah, who knows?
Every once in a while, because Mimi loves that movie. Every once in a while, it'll be on, and we finish watching it together. And I never remember to go like look up the production. What is James Naughton doing in this fucking movie?
That's funny. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy because if you look at his like history, his wife passed, but yeah, he was just like did a couple movies early on, and then it's all on Broadway. And he does like little piecemeal little like scenes in movies and TV shows.
That's neat. I'm sure you got to keep your SAG card going, right? I mean, I get all that.
Well, I mean, it probably doesn't hurt to have your brother be your brother as well. But then, if we really think about it, because David Naughton probably, I don't think he even acts too much anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure how much pull David Naughton is bringing to the.
Yeah, not anymore. But definitely for a period of time. I mean, you could really. I assume that if you were a decent role in a horror movie in the early 80s, you could squeeze out a 35, 40-year acting career from it. I bet you if I did that, you could.
Leanna Quigley did.
Sure, but like I could think of a lot of people that are like. I mean, I'm also like, sure, like Robert Englund, but I'm also like, I'm not going that way. I'm just like saying like, okay, you were the hero in a 80s horror movie. You probably are still acting today in some capacity.
I mean, you're basically describing one of the stars of the cover of wait, have you not seen this? Ernie Hudson.
Oh, right, really? Yeah, right, really? Like, but I don't know. See,
he's got a 40-year career, and You know,
Sure.
he's a working actor. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. Not everybody gets to be, you know, like even somebody like Dennis Quaid, right? Like that
Sure.
guy hits the scene and they're like, it's the new Harrison Ford. And now you're like, yeah, he was in some good movies. Yeah.
Yeah. It's well,
You know, it's like, it just seems like it should have been better for him.
you know, I think what eventually happens, and I don't know if this is, I think if you're not, I think there's an element of celebrity or actor that is just like, I'm happy to be here still. And they just keep on like, I always got that impression from like Kurt Russell. Like Kurt Russell is always, I've always read him as like, I'm kind of happy to be here. I'm not going to overstep my bounds. I'm not like, Kurt Russell is like on Mount Rushmore of Hollywood. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, like, he's like the Mickey Rooney, the Kurt Russells. Like, you started in acting when you weren't even like, you know, you didn't know how to use a skateboard. You know what I mean? And then it's like, you're still acting. And they're like, but then I think there's other people which kind of come in with like a little bit more of like an ownership. Where they're like, and not that they're owed anything, but they're also like, I have to do more than just that. Like, I love Ron Howard, but I feel like Ron Howard had to always kind of like prove that he needs to be here. I don't think he ever had to, but you know, like it was like, I don't know. I'm probably not explaining this very well.
No, I totally get it. That when you have early success as a young kid, it's going to fuck you up unless people are really aware of that. And it seems like, you know, you can't do anything about audience perception.
Right.
Ron Howard is obviously an upstanding, decent taxpaying citizen,
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But that could have gone like Macaulay Culkin, right?
Oh, sure. Or it could have gone like, you know, like think about like, I think like there's the period like Drew Barrymore. Like, you know, there's a period of, you're like, you're the biggest child, you're going to be the biggest child star. I mean, like Spielberg says you're an amazing actress and you're like 6, you know, like that's kind of like that's a feather in your cap that you can wear for the rest of your life. And if you just want to do that, you can. She goes a bad route and then kind of comes back. It's like all those people like Robert Downey Jr. It's like, you know, there's very few that are just like, but I guess what I'm getting at is like, I feel like the Drew Barrymores, the Robert Downey Jr.'s, they always were like, I'm going to be the biggest star. And like the Kurt Russell was, I never got from him that he's like, even at times when he probably is an insanely huge star, he never was like, I'm the biggest star. He's just like, I'm happy. I love what I do. I'm happy to be here.
I totally get what you're saying. And I think it's because of the people that were around him when he was a kid, because he was raised in Hollywood and he became uniquely situated to understand the positives and negatives and made it work for him and had, you know, a very lush career.
Sure.
Like,
oh God, yeah.
Lavish, almost, you know, but without attaining it, with the humility that some of the other flash in the pan celebrities don't have, right? Sure. Listen to this. I have a guy who's doing that now. Okay. You and me, people our age, are uniquely situated because we get what happened to Kurt, and we want people on that trajectory because that's awesome and gives us, you know, we had child stars, but it gives us, you know, teen stars and adult stars when you do that, right?
Yes.
And I think that was Daniel Radcliffe.
I agree. I
think he, whatever people he had around him, everything's cool. It could have gone wrong, and he's making super awesome choices and doing cool shit now.
Yeah.
And so whenever I see him show up, it's not like, oh, look at this.
You know who else is? You know who else too?
Which is what happened to the audience with Ron Howard. It's like,
and really, I think you can even look at like Elijah Wood.
Oh yeah.
Because you're also like, he's the Macaulay Culkin. That like they're the two competitors. Like if you think about it, like they start up at the same time.
He's good, Macaulay Culkin.
Right. If you really and then you're, but it's also like you probably had the right to your point. Like not that Macaulay Culkin didn't. I mean, his brothers are all in Hollywood and all that stuff. But it was also like, okay, well, Elijah Wood is just like you're kind of following the same path. But like Elijah Wood, you can look at any point in his career and you're like, oh, was he the biggest star in the world? I mean, he was in the biggest movie in the world. But did you ever were like I think there's a, you know, Elijah Wood was in The Lord of the Rings, and you could honestly say at one point he's like one of the biggest stars in the world. You would have never said it was because of Elijah Wood.
Right.
Macaulay Culkin's in Home Alone. He's the biggest star and the kid star in the world, and you would say he's the biggest kid star.
He carried that movie.
Right. So then it's like you kind of have those two avenues, right? Like it's like you either get the like burn bright, burn out, or burn enough and burn forever. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying. It's you know what, you're sounding like a dad though.
Probably, yeah.
I have those thoughts a million times a day, like the Terminator. It's like, oh, we need to make this good choice, or this is going to go good, or like there's a mistake that I'll let you make because I'm watching, you know, stuff like that, and then you can learn that lesson and not do that when I'm not watching. I think that's probably happens for making movies.
Yeah,
you will love that show, the franchise.
I'm gonna check it out. I was looking up some of the stuff. The
whole narrative is like choices like that, and and then just because you're a producer, there's like 3 producers.
That's cool.
You can watch all the stuff that happens. Is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will download it right after.
I started watching it, and I stopped because I thought Walker and Mimi would love it. And they started watching it and was giving Walker a little agita because he's like, hey, I know you tell me all the time that Hollywood's not for everybody, but it's not because of this stuff, is it? And I'm like, well, it's part of it. Sure. Goes, oh, yeah, let's watch something else. And I'm like, cool, let's put some Last Ship on and shoot people. That's cool.
Yeah. What I would say is, if that stresses you out, don't let that stress you out, because you won't bring that level of anxiety. I think people naturally bring their anxiety to it, and or not, maybe not anxiety, but just like that's not going to be your experience, because
I agree 100%.
You know, he's a different kid, you know, like you're bringing a different brain to this scenario, you know, and it's
anyway. Going to be a different world that all that stuff is produced under too. So you know, it's going to be different. Don't panic yet. That's
not yet.
I've been saying to everybody for a week, let's not panic yet. I mean, we're fine till Christmas, man.
Listen, that is, I cannot. You know what though? I think that's a dad thing, because it has to be. Because I say that to the girls all the time. I'm constantly like, let's not worry about what we don't have to worry about yet.
Right.
When it comes, we'll worry together.
Right.
But I'm not worrying about it. And that, you know, it's funny, because that's really, I think back at like my project management producing when I was doing that, and that was always like the thing you had to keep on telling yourself. It's like, you can kind of think about what's going to go wrong and have kind of an idea or a direction or a step to go to like help solve it, but don't solve it now when it's not happening. Like don't spend too much time in the unknown. Like, let it be unknown for a little bit.
That took me a while to get to. I just recently figured that out, right? Because of the creative, like, you wargame everything when you write a story, right? What happens if I go this way? What happens if I go this way? And I choose this way, right?
Right.
And so I was really used to like wargaming stuff to the end to have plans, right? But like that, I realized that like that's wasted time and work.
Right.
Wasted. And so I got to where you are. It's like, well, if that goes, we could go through that avenue. And if that goes, we can go through that avenue. But I would be like, this is the color of the house that's going to be at the end of the lane when we get there, right?
Right.
You don't need to do that.
Can't do. Well, you know what though? You can, but then it creates stress on you. Actually, you're stressing yourself out because it doesn't even go that way.
Right. And you're stressing the process because now you're messing the experiment, and you might end up there, and you only
you're almost forcing yourself to do that. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Well,
anyway,
experience, age. You know. So.
Yes, age. Getting that full Santa going.
I like it. I like it.
I don't want to. Oh, you saw Walker's.
I know. I was going to say
from Red One. Yeah,
you got to bounce. So, I mean, and I'm trying to keep you honest because
like I have like 4 minutes, but I was going to talk a little about Walker's. He got the vest.
I saw the picture he posted on. So is that the full outfit for for Santa this year?
What he's wearing,
I love it.
Yeah, he's got to puff up his arms a little for that shirt, and he's wearing the cargo pants, and he's got cargo stuff. He was thinking he's going to get. I bought him a big peppermint stick that's like the size and shape of a cigar.
Oh, that's cool.
He's going to have that in his mouth, and I think he's got some idea for belts and loops and stuff. I don't know if he's going to. He might hang his Viking stuff sideways, like a.
I like it.
He might do that. I don't know.
I
and then I'm just going to put all the pieces from all of my 4 things together.
my brain immediately, like if he's doing the peppermint stick like a cigar, I feel like he needs like a baseball of coal, like to toss up and down, like kind of like a. Do you know what I mean?
A lump of coal.
Like just like I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, like Captain Queeg and 12 Angry Men or whatever.
Yeah, you know, like I don't know.
The Cane Mutiny.
Yeah,
you know, he had those balls. He's on.
Can you get a ball of like a baseball? But
I'm
you know what you can do? You know what? Why my brain goes there is because I know it. Like, if you ever see this in Target, I know you go to Target all the time. They always have like that. The girls always ask for it. It's like that bin of like snowballs that you can throw in the house.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, that's actually cool. But it'd be funny if it was like coal, like pretend coal.
I'm sure there's a big old foam lump of coal on Amazon waiting for me right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like I just see the picture of him with like, with the
little J.K. Simmons like,
all
right, Spider-Man,
exactly,
I'm Santa Claus now. All right, yeah,
nice.
That's a great idea.
I love it. Well,
we'll get that and take that picture just for you.
Thank you. Yeah, add that one into mine. Well, what's it called? I will let you go because I know you're running and I know you want.
Yeah, it was good
clean
to talk
yourself
to you,
up.
man. I hope the kids.
Kids are good. Everyone's good on my side. Glad everything's going well on your side, and we will do this next week in our normal scheduled time.
Sounds good.
Awesome, man. All right. Later, Larry.
See you. Thanks, Steve. End stream. Goodbye.